Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, more horrors from Darfur, where dozens of women and girls say they were the victims of a mass rape carried out by Sudanese government forces. Also, 1 year on after the conflict began, we meet the women on the front line in eastern Ukraine. And as soccer fans from around the world follow the action at the Women's World Cup, we take a look at the sport's growing popularity here in France. But we begin in Darfur, where victims of a mass rape said to be carried out by Sudanese government forces have gone public about their ordeal. Khartoum has repeatedly denied the rape allegations in the town of Golo. Darfur itself has been the scene of a deadly conflict between the government and three rebel movements since 2003. This report from our team on the ground.
Kadia is one of a dozen women and girls France 24 met who claim they were gang raped when government-backed forces entered the town of Golo. Scattered across a mountainside, they all tell a similar story. Troops barged into their homes before violating them, often in front of the rest of their families. Kadia now sleeps out in the open with her 10 children.
The children were together with me. One man was aiming his gun at me, while another man beat me and raped me. My husband was beaten and held at gunpoint nearby.
Few women have received medical treatment because the Mara Mountains are so cut off after the government blocked access to NGOs. Munira is another alleged victim. She says her 11-year-old daughter Moassa was also raped when government militia invaded their home. The experience was so brutal, Munira broke her hip and is not sure if her unborn baby is still alive.
The men asked me after they raped us, "Don't you think Arabs are strong?" I was raped on the bed and my daughter was raped on the ground.
Most victims appear to have been raped in their homes. Some tried to seek sanctuary in a mosque, but further atrocities took place there, even against very young girls, according to Suleiman, another rape victim.
Some people called for help. The attackers went and held the men at gunpoint. They took the girl into a nearby hut used as a kitchen in the mosque and raped her. When they finished raping her, they dragged the girl from the hut. She was screaming. Then they stuffed a piece of cloth in her mouth, like this. The girl was choking and so couldn't scream. By then, many people had fled the mosque.
Suleiman's testimony of further rapes taking place in the mosque, including that of a very young girl, has been corroborated by other victims we spoke to. The government says that all these allegations of rape in Golo are false, because Sudan's military protects civilians and does not rape women.
Now, in the last year, the world's attention has been drawn to the conflict that's flared in eastern Ukraine following the ouster of pro-Russian President Viktor Yanukovych. Two regions attempted to break away from Kiev's control and declare independence, a move that's now left some 6,500 people dead. Luke Schrago takes a look at the women on the front line.
Ukrainian troops are on the move near Mariupol.
Attack! Attack! Get behind! 2 steps apart!
This is no frontline maneuver, but a training exercise in the country's east. It's Victoria Prudushenko's job to get new reservists trained up and ready for combat. She's the Ukrainian National Guard's only female commander.
You're not on a beach to get a suntan, you don't have long.
From her work as an activist in Kiev's Maidan Square to preparing recruits for war, Victoria's come a long way. She's joined increasing numbers of women involved in the nation's civil war, from training right up to the front line. Some, like Alia, have put their entire lives on hold to help Kiev's troops.
I know what they are fighting for, how they do it, and I'm trying to do absolutely anything to make it easier for them morally. In reality, there are few medics here and few medics who are ready to go out under fire.
Patching up the wounded, getting them to hospital. A combat medic's role isn't for everyone. The mental stress can be phenomenal.
It's better to be a soldier, not a medic. It's much easier. You don't have the responsibility for someone's death. That's why I'm thinking of becoming a soldier, not being a medic anymore.
Behind the front lines, other women like Afina are helping out a beleaguered population in other ways.
When we came here for the first time after the bombardment, there was this tragic feeling in the air. There were no lights. Everyone who stayed in their homes were using candles.
Afina works for the Vmestia NGO, helping people with reconstruction by keeping an eye on local level finances. It's not an easy task.
You have to understand that when an NGO is run by 5 people with 50 or 100 volunteers, it's impossible to help an entire district of 30,000 people.
With fighting flaring just kilometers away, that's 30,000 people who need more than just help with reconstruction too. Their security is a major concern.
People who could be planning acts of terror know that patrols could arrest them at any time. That's why it's important that we're working not just on using force, but on morale as well.
Morale, a key factor in a conflict that's gone on for 13 months and left over 6,000 dead, and one whose defence that women like Victoria know is just as important as holding on the front line itself.
And finally, in recent weeks, soccer has captured world headlines over allegations of corruption at FIFA, the sport's governing body. But thanks to the Women's World Cup now underway in Canada, the focus is swinging back to action on the pitch. And here in France, the sport is rapidly gaining popularity. We meet one team from the south whose enthusiasm knows no bounds.
Do some ab exercises. Start pedaling again.
Endless training sessions.
Go, go. Come on, girls. Go, 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 go. That's good. Well played. That's good. Oh, that's too bad.
Meet the only women's football team in the French region of Haute-Provence.
Sometimes you need to cover your ears. You know what girls talk about. Family life, going out, or sex. And it goes on. I'm used to it coming out of the mouths of men rather than the mouths of women.
Romain has coached the ladies for 2 years. His wife, Charlene, talked him into it, but as a player, she gets no special treatment.
I was the one that steered him into coaching the girls when he wasn't that interested. Training a group of 25 girls with him, the only guy in the middle of it, wasn't really top of his list.
The town has fielded a female team for over a decade. It started with just 7 ladies and last year increased to 20. The club is still male-dominated, but they welcome the women.
It's good for football. I've seen them do good things. There's a little less rhythm, but it's good. It's good.
Some are even better than the boys. I've played with a few, and they played better than the boys. Always better than the boys, actually.
Support like that has been on the rise since the French women's team reached the World Cup semi-finals in 2011. Football no longer just a sport for men.
It started to evolve with the good result of the French team. It got good media coverage, so it helped things develop on the ground.
Look in terms of how they kick the ball. The intensity which they pass. Some kick as strong as the men. Good, good, good. That's good. Well played. Finish it.
A high-velocity impact to the face stuns the goalkeeper, but it doesn't keep her down for long.
The men are more dramatic. If they get into a little contact, they fall, roll over and cry until the referee whistles. My girls are brave.
Later in the day, the team is back together again, this time for a local wedding. The girls have swapped their studs for stilettos, but footballs are still centre stage. In this village of 3,000 inhabitants, it's the women that are the sporting heroes.
Why should we give men the kudos for everything? Because they already make 20% more than we do with the same qualifications. So we're not just going to give them football as well.
You wouldn't know from the dresses, but these are star players. They're big, big players. Those two there, I'd sign them up.
The next day, with celebrations over, it's back to the beautiful game with gusto.
Solution! Lève la tête!
But maybe there wasn't quite enough time to recover from their late night. Les Bleus lost their friendly against the visitors, but retained their enthusiasm for the upcoming season.
And that's it for now. And if you'd like to comment on what you've just seen, you can head to our Facebook page. That's France 24 full stop 51%, or send us a tweet at _51%. Thanks for your feedback so far, and please keep those comments coming in. Until our next program, bye for now.